Okay, so what was the coolest place any of their shoes have been?
Well, for instance, I have a patient who, she's very melancholy, poor me, poor me. And every time I see her name on the schedule, whereas I used to be like, ah, shit, it's her again. Now I embrace it because I'm like, I want to make her smile. You know what I mean?
You get to her.
And it was the last time she came in, and I know that I can't ask her, hey, what's good and exciting? She's gonna look at me and be like, nothing. I know she's gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
So I did. I was like, hey, where's the coolest place your shoes have been? And she like, huh? And I said, your shoes. Where is the coolest place those shoes have ever been? And she said, well, I went to a Kid Rock concert in Detroit. And her mom, because her mom comes with her still, and that's all they talked about for a good 5 minutes. Then she was mine again. I was like, all right.
So you rebooted.
Just engage. Change it.
Yeah.
Focus it and not give up.
Right.
And that's a problem. You can't teach humanity.
Exactly.
People ask me all the time, what'd you learn in medical school? I'm like, nothing.
How?
Nothing. What do you mean? I learned a bunch of book stuff, how to take a test, and struggled there. But to be empathetic and to care and to address somebody properly by whatever name that they want, to know what they did as a young man, to know whether or not they just lost their wife, to know if they have a relationship with their kids. Do you have a car? There's so many other things that are so important that take 2 seconds to figure out. So next time they come in, I quickly am reading through, the last note. And it's like, hey, how's your daughter? I know she got married. How was the wedding? And they're in hug heaven.
Right.
It was beautiful. It was this, it was that. I cried. Great.
You remembered.
Something. And my mom, it taught me when I was younger, she said, always know a person's name. Because the name is theirs. It's theirs. That's their name. Doesn't matter if they want to be Mr. So-and-so or if they have a nickname. What do you want me to call you? Yeah. And you walk in and you say, hey, so-and-so, how you doing? How's life? And if it's the negative person, you use something else. I have a guy, he only wanted to talk about cars. That's it. I said, oh, how's that project going? And then he goes on and I'm able to still redirect. And he'll tell me anything.
Right.
Anything I want to know. I'm like, are you drunk or acting weird? And he's like, yeah, I had a couple of beers before I came in. I'm like, all right. So
freestyle.
Yeah. And just to know them for them. Mm-hmm. And if I can know them for them, then I know what's abnormal and what's not abnormal.
Gauge it.
I know what's normal for them.
Right.
So
why Las Vegas? What drew you, because I know you're from here, what drew you to Vegas? There's a high concentration of people to help, I'm hearing. But beyond that.
I went to Las Vegas for medical school in Toro. So Toro is where I went to school. I had a house here, and my goal was that I was going to do all my internship and my rotations at UCLA. So I started at UCLA. But I worked at the Salvation Army clinic with one of my attendings, and he said, Danielle, you've got to do rural medicine. It's the best thing I've ever done. When I first started rural medicine, and then you can get your feet wet, because in rural medicine, you're everything. There is no specialist. There's no hospital. There's nothing. And so by being able to seriously be kind of a one-stop shop, it makes you so dynamic, and there isn't a whole bunch of competition.
Okay.
It makes you use your brain. It makes you truthfully figure out what is going on. And an example would be when I was doing, trauma and ER at the county facility in Vegas. There was activation teams and specialists and residents and fellows for every single different thing. And it was, wow, I'm short. This sucks. I can't see. You know what I mean?
You are like 5 feet tall.
Oh my gosh, I'm just like, what is going on? I mean, even in trauma, if it was a head trauma, nobody in trauma touched them. They called an activation unit, which is a whole bunch of different people that would come down and then assess the patient. Well, rural medicine was different. It was, you know, I had one guy who came in, he was holding a can in his hand, and his friend had a 22, and he said, try to shoot the can off my hand.
Oh,
And I'm like,
geez.
are you serious? And obviously, you know what happened. He didn't go to the doctor for 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
So it for me, it was, who am I going to send him to? No one's going to see this guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a car to get wherever you need them to go, so you just do the best you can. Okay.
So you did reconstructive surgery on the guy.
We didn't do reconstructive surgery on him because he didn't have insurance, but we did keep it from going gangrene. And that was by him coming in every day. I had to give him Rocephin in his butt because it's all I had. It was dressing the wound because he didn't have money for wound care. And it was, you know, oral antibiotics. It was the best that I could do for the situation. And the best meant that he was going to get treated because he wasn't
Right.
going to go to Vegas.
Gotcha.
And I made him sign, you know, against medical advice, whatever. But,
Right. You did what you could. That's
you know, there's, when you think about it, especially when you're talking about, you know, rural areas for the most part, socioeconomically, kind of like a lower class, you know, they don't understand things the same way you or I do, you know, especially on severity. And it's really, I mean, that was the biggest challenge is making them understand, like, that's going to kill you, you're going to die, that's not good, instead of
Yeah.
saying all these huge medical words of what they had and what they don't have. And I'd draw pictures. I'd have their families come in. This is the picture too, and you just involve them, and you involve them, and you say, if I can get you to see one of my friends in Las Vegas, and I get you a cab fare, would you go? All right. And so then you can work it like a different
Yeah.
way.
And so you've got
But-
them involved.
But even Mercy Air, like,